Show me the money.
Just looking good, but I think I'm taking too long.
Back to the spot for a Glock. I took a loss over floss, but still got a knock.
Money! I'm gonna call Jerry. Does that make you feel good just to say that?
All right, show me the money. NFL picks for week number 7 are here. Joining me today, one of my favorite guests now on the picks every single year, is New York Giants actually doing good for once. Justin Diaz here. Justin, how are you?
I'm well, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a different tone from the previous 5 years that I've been on the podcast, where the Giants are actually good. It's really, it feels like I'm dreaming. I can't believe it, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about some positivity for once.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this last couple weeks has been very positive. Brian Dale's done a good job with this team. I mean, I was locked in on the Jet game, obviously Sunday, because they're playing at the same time. But I mean, I look back, I caught up in the Giant game. I mean, they're down 20-10 in the fourth quarter against Baltimore. This turns and they pick off Lamar in the end zone. They come back, they get the lead, then they have the whole sequence at the end where they have the strip sack, and then they recover the fumble and the game here. Like, how stunning was that just in the moment of seeing them just completely flip the script this span about like 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's been the story of the season where a couple of times you feel like they're down and out, or same exact thing with the Green Bay game the week prior, where you think, okay, they put up a good fight. It's been a good season so far, but we're supposed to lose to the Ravens and we're supposed to lose to the Packers. But somehow, some way, they managed to get it done. That Lamar Jackson pick was, I think it was around the 40-yard line or 50-yard line. It was a terrible pass. It really bailed them out, because one thing with the Giants so far is they really have not been able to pass the ball down the field. They're actually dead last in big pass plays, which is plays over 25 yards. They have 3 total pass plays over 25 yards. So, long story short, I mean, Lamar throwing that pass, they wound up returning it to, I think, like the 5-yard line. That really bailed them out, because they've played great, but they just struggle to get down the field. So that really bailed them out, that pick.
Yeah, it certainly did. And you look at the talent on this roster. I mean, obviously Saquon's having a great year. Obviously their defense is playing well. Daniel Jones has limited mistakes, but you look at the amount of talent they have on the team and compared to like some of the rosters they're playing here, like it's just downright stunning. They're 5-1. I mean, you would have signed for like 3-3 after 6 weeks with what the games they had on tap. So 5-1, I feel like it's amazing.
It's really hard to believe. I would have signed up for 0-6 and confidence. All going into the season, all we asked for, I think, as realistic Giant fans, were show some confidence. Let's see that Brian Dable knows what he's doing. Show everyone plays hard. But I mean, win a couple of games here and there just for the morale of the organization. But to be sitting here at 5-1 was unfathomable. I mean, you look at the receivers. They have nobody, and it's not to knock any of these guys. They all work hard. I love the attitude of everyone. They all play hard. Wan'Dale Robinson finally came back. He looks like he actually has. He's talented. The rest of the guys, I mean, to put it nicely, they're fringe. A lot of fringe roster guys that you fill in with injuries, but they're playing them and they're getting it done. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their schedule, too, like going down the stretch here. I know it's not fun to play the schedule game because anything can really happen in the league. But, I mean, with some of the teams they're playing, I mean, they got the Jaguars, they got the Texans, they got the Seahawks, they got the Lions still on the schedule, plus they have 2 of the Commanders. I mean, like, I feel like it's going to be an upset they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, like you said, you don't want to play the schedule game too early, but the way they've been playing, I mean, I will say they feel like, I mean, the job Martindale has done with the defense has been incredible. Dable and Kafka on the offensive side, and they just feel, it's sometimes a hard thing to quantify coaching, obviously, but it just feels like that they're well prepared. They're constantly put in good positions with the limited talent they have. The in-game management's been excellent. Things we haven't seen in years since Coughlin, and even Coughlin at the end seemed to slip a little bit. So, honestly, with the schedule being light, it feels like, I mean, they're at Jaguars, at Seattle. I think Seattle actually looks better than people expected. Jacksonville's better than they've been in years. So, if they could split those games, they realistically could win both. I mean, they could realistically lose both. But yeah, the schedule is pretty light. So, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do expect us to make the playoffs at this point. It's unbelievable. I haven't had fun watching Giants football since 2016, so a breath of fresh air. And yeah, Dable has really brought life back to the Giants organization.
Yeah, I think this is also a good spot to see what this coach staff is made of here, because obviously these last two games were amazing comebacks. You beat good teams. Now you have some expectation. You're going on the road, playing a team that's not playing well. They're 2-4. They do have talent, but they've been underachieving here. I think a good test of this coaching staff here to see, not let the Giants sleep on this team, who they should beat when they're playing well. But Jacksonville's the talent; they can go beat anybody. Just ask the Colts.
Agreed. I mean, the Jaguars are actually favored by 3.5 at last I checked, but I agree. I mean, if you're, it's hard. I mean, it's a weird thing because the Giants are 5-1, but most people couldn't name 5 guys on offense that they have. Like you have Saquon. People know Daniel Jones, but no one's going to say he's exactly an all-pro. And then the receivers, I know them. I mean, David Sills, Wan'Dale Robinson. I even struggle to name them. I mean, the talent is it's so barren. There's so few difference makers, especially on offense. But so you don't want to say, well, they should win anything, because if you stack up their roster and the Jaguars roster, I might give the edge to the Jags, at least and skill position wise. But yeah, I mean, when you're 5-1, that does start to come with the expectations. So I agree. Let's see what they can do. But my expectations are kind of, even though I said I expect them to make the playoffs, I'm still having the mindset of I just want to see them continue to be well coached, play hard, get better as the season goes on. I'm not going to sit here and say if they wind up going 9-8 and it was a massive disappointment of a season. It'll be disappointing compared to where we thought they might be after 6 games, but we still have to be realistic and look at the roster.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought the lineup here, because that's an interesting thing here, because this is a game that 3 games better than the Jaguars in the win-loss column here. It's this line feels very fishy with the way the Vegas works here. I mean, I've seen a couple of these this year, and I think week 2 when New England was favoring Pittsburgh, I thought it was fishy. New England ends up winning the game. Does that worry you at all?
I mean, I just know lines or betting lines are based purely on statistics, and there's obviously the betting, as the betting happens, the lines shift. But the Giants are plus 14 for the season, meaning they've outscored their opponents by 14 points total, which is a stunningly low number for a team that's 5-1. So they really, I mean, week 1 they lost on a missed field goal. I'm not, I've been a very pessimistic Giant fan for years, so that's not what I'm about to do. I'm just going to speak facts that they're pretty fortunate to be 5-1. I'm thrilled with it. I'm not saying it's pure luck, but they're not exactly the best 5-1 team you're going to see. I'm not going to say they're the worst, like you've been seeing some articles saying, are the Giants the worst 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 team? But I'm not shocked by that line. I'm going to bet on the Giants to win the game. I do think they'll win the game, and I think they're the better team. But the line itself doesn't shock me, given how the Giants have won these games, and they've been pretty fortunate, for lack of a better term, to be 5-1.
So let's go to the picks. The reason why you're here, Kevin Willis was here last week on the picks. He went 1-2. He bet the Ravens laying the 6 points against the Giants. That worked out very well for him. He bet the Chiefs getting the 2.5 points at home, lost that one. He did lay the 6.5 with the Eagles, so 1-2 for Kevin.
Yeah, bad job, Kevin. I actually bet on the Giants to beat the Ravens. There was a big they were plus 230 or something. I just was feeling confident, and again, Lamar Jackson kind of gifted that to us at the end. But I'll take it. Hey, and yeah, don't doubt the Giants. Even though I just spent the last 30 seconds trying to temper expectations, but
Yeah, on the other hand, I went 2 on the week. I did bet on the Giants last week. I did take them with the points last week, so I'm happy got that one right. I took the Falcons getting 5.5 against the Niners. They won the game outright. I had a family play with Kevin on the Chiefs. He lost that together, so 2-1 on the week, but I was on your Giants.
Okay, good. I'm glad you are.
Yeah, because I saw the between. I felt they were not getting enough respect for their record. I felt the Ravens have a history of blowing these big fourth quarter leads. I felt like the game was going to be closer than I did not think they were going to win outright. That'll be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I bet them just because I thought the value was good at plus 230. If I would have guns in my head, I probably would have still picked the Ravens. I kind of bet with my heart and the value of the plus 230, but they're just a weird team to evaluate right now. I mean, it might just be one of those seasons where things keep breaking their way. My hope is, they sometimes it's a long season, so you kind of hope the beginning of the year things break your way, and that happening, brings confidence throughout the roster, and then they just continue to get better. Like, you got lucky at the beginning of the season, and as the season goes on, you get better, and before you know it, you could have like a 12-5, 13-4 record. So let's see what happens. I mean, again, like, I stopped watching pretty much every season by like week 6 or week 7 at the latest the last couple of years. They were unwatchable. I mean, I would check in, watch the beginning of the game. Joe Judge would do a QB sneak on 3rd and 8, 2nd and 8. And then what am I going to watch that garbage for? I will say, I mean, we have to mention Dave Gettleman because he's my arch nemesis. Thank you, David, for being gone, for retiring, quote unquote. Nobody misses you. You're the worst GM in the history of sports. And thank you for leaving graciously, even though you really were fired, but the Giants didn't have the heart to do it for some reason. But yeah, the second he goes, the stench of Gettleman and Joe Judge also equally as much of a clown and the worst coach ever, possibly, things instantly turn around. I just had to throw that in there just because I still get upset thinking about them and how long we were stuck with them. So, but it's all positive vibes and energy now with the Giants. They're far gone. They can't hurt us anymore. I only wake up to the occasional nightmare once every few weeks thinking about them, but they're gone. They can't hurt us anymore.
Yeah, and Dave Gettleman, if you are listening to this podcast, no, you're not, but I'm going to say this: if there's toilet paper like on your house for Halloween, it wasn't me. I'll put that out there.
Yeah. Hey, but he's in Cape Cod somewhere, but yeah, it's true. I mean, I am free on Halloween weekend, but I'll be in the city. And if it happens, I'm sorry, it wasn't me either, but I can't say I blame whoever did it.
Yeah, let's get to the picks here. As the guest, you're going to go first. So where are you going with pick number 1?
All right, we're going to keep it simple. Pick number 1, Giants with 3.5 points at Jacksonville. I laid out before what I think. I actually think they'll win the game outright. I just love the way they're playing. I think they'll win that game.
Yeah.
Next game, I'm going with. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, to say as far as that pick goes, like, I respect the logic. The number scares me. The fact that Vegas is that confident the Jaguars giving them 3 points in this game, a team that's three games better than on the 1-loss column. That for me is a stay away. So I respect your play. I just can't go along for the ride with you.
Fair. I do think, though, the Giants have won 4 games as underdogs this year, so I think they'll make it 5 and keep the good times rolling.
All right, where are you going with pick 2?
Baltimore minus 6.5 at home against Cleveland. I think there's I know it's a very important game for Baltimore. That was a sloppy way to lose last week. I think Lamar's he's been playing amazing through 3 quarters, and then his 4th quarter rating has been terrible. I think he'll avoid any costly mistakes. I think they'll win this game pretty handily. 6.5 is always kind of a scary number. You can get a backdoor cover. I don't think that'll happen. I think Baltimore controls this game start to finish.
Yeah, the thing that scares me with this game is the Ravens penchant for the late blowing double-digit leads thing here. So that's a stay away from me also. But I get the line. You go, this is the bounce-back spot.
Exactly. Pure bounce-back. Now we're getting to that point where it's now or never for them. I think they're a great team. They've just been a little sloppy at the end of the game. I think that ends this week.
All right, where are you going with pick number 3?
Going with my arch rival Cowboys, minus 7 hosting Detroit. I think Dak coming back, they're going to be amped. They're going to play a great game. Cooper Rush did an admirable job filling in, but you kind of saw his limitations against the Eagles there last week. I think the Cowboys is winning a blowout. I think Detroit's really bad. And I know they had a couple of big games. Finally, they got shut out this last weekend. I just think there's just so much going for a Cowboys blowout this weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I feel like I did not take it, but this is basically the homecoming game for the Cowboys, where they're going to win this game by I'm calling at least 20 points.
Yeah, I totally agree. I could just see Jerry Jones with some stupid grin on his face, like, high-fiving everybody and being his old Southern guy self. And I'm going to hate every second of it, but it just trying to be an objective prognosticator here. I see the Cowboys going to blow in that game.
All right, that's your picks on the board. I'm up now. Pick number 1. I'm going to go with an underdog. You're going to take the Colts getting 2.5 in Tennessee against the Titans. And we know the Colts have not played great this year at the start here, but Frank Reich's teams always start slow. And I think last week something clicked against Jacksonville where Matt Ryan plays best game as a Colt. The line was blocking well. They got good running without Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's going to be back this week. It should help. And I don't trust Tennessee at all. I don't think they're a very good football team. No, they have to buy the extra prep. I think this will be a spot where the Colts sort of just kick into overdrive here and start trying to run away with this division here. I'm getting 2.5 points. They're going to win the game outright. I'll take the Colts pick 1.
Interesting. I don't like that pick. I don't like either of those teams. I agree. Frank Reich, I think, is an excellent coach. He's worked with some weak quarterback play between Wentz last year and Matt Ryan. Great guy, I'm sure, but I just don't think he has it anymore. I think his athleticism and arm strength is just too weak now. The Titans are one of those teams that are tough to pin down, and it's been that way, I feel like, every year for the last 3 or 4 years. I do think it'll be a good game. I think the Titans win at home, but I think that's a stay-away game, if anything, but we'll see what happens.
All right, pick number 1. Pick number 2, I'm going to Sunday Night Football. I'm taking the Dolphins laying 7 at home against the Steelers. And I think a lot of things went right for Pittsburgh last week in this game. I know the offensive line for the Bucs couldn't protect Tom Brady very well. They had issues in the pass game. They still only scored 20 points this game, and Miami's getting 2 back. They're desperate after a 3-game losing streak. I feel like they're going to put up a lot of points on the Steelers. I don't think Pittsburgh's able to keep up with them. 7's a big number, but I really trust the Dolphins. I'm going to lay the 7 with Miami on Sunday night and do that pick 2.
I saw that one too. I totally agree. If Tua, let's pray he stays healthy and he's okay and he's himself. If that's the case, they should. I think the Steelers are terrible. No offense, Mike Nasty. And I think the Dolphins are a very good, very talented team that just had some bad luck. If Tua's there and he's healthy and he's okay, yeah, it's good for them.
All right, that's pick number 2. Pick number 3. First time this year I'm going to Monday Night Football. I'm taking the New England Patriots laying the 8 at home against the Chicago Bears. And the Bears, I think, might be the worst team in the league because Justin Fields has no support at all offensively. Their defense is bad. And I had a good feeling at this game when I heard Bill Belichick go for about 5 minutes talking about how great the Bears are. That he's sitting in his mind thinking, I'm going to win this game by about 35 points because Chicago cannot stop anything I do. They're going to run down their throats. Whether it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, they're going to put up a lot of points. Chicago's not going to do anything against New England defense. 2 touchdown victory at least for the Patriots. I'm going to lay the 8 with New England on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree. The Bears are terrible. I feel bad for him. It's tough to fairly evaluate him. There have been stretches of time where I think he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. But again, like he's dealing with a really weak surrounding cast. I don't know about this new coach. I really don't. I barely know his name. Eberflus or something like that. But I don't know. Who knows if he's a good coach? It's a rough situation there. They're lucky to be 2-4. Yeah, they're going to smoke him. I actually like Bailey Zappi a lot. I kind of hope he keeps playing. I know it's kind of up in the air if he's playing or not. I agree with that pick, too. I think it's going to be a blowout.
All right, so to reset the picks of the week, Justin has gone with his Giants getting 3.5 in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. The Ravens laying 6.5 at home against the Browns. The Cowboys laying 7 in the homecoming game against the Lions. My picks, I've got the Colts plus 2.5 in Tennessee against the Titans. The Dolphins laying 7 at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And New England laying 8 against the Bears on Monday Night Football. Those are your picks for week number 7. And normally this is where I announce who's coming on next week, but do not have that locked down quite yet, so bad producing by me. But we're going to have a picks guest next week, so haven't decided yet to be a Jet person. Probably not being a Giant person back-to-back, but we're going to have some more picks next week. Have some fun.
Don't be so hard on yourself. That's not bad producing. It's tough to lock these things in. You probably have flaky friends that are non-committal. So not bad. You're an excellent producer, and you do a great job with this. So, and I always appreciate you having me on. I always have a blast, and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, and we were recording prior to Game 2 of the ALCS tonight with the Yankees and the Astros. Here, do the Yankees win? I'll get that on record for you.
Yes, they do. They have to, so they will. Luis Severino is going to come out and dominate. Judge is going to hit a big 2-run home run at some point. They're going to win. I'm going to Game 3 with Phil Freyat on Saturday. Thank you, Phil, for the invite. We're going to have a blast. Going to see the Yankees smoke the Astros Game 3, and we're going to the World Series, and we're winning. It's going to be a great year for New York sports. We're turning it around. It's been a bad stretch for many years. This is the year it all turns around.
Yeah, if they do make the World Series,
Except for the Mets.
Yeah, if they do make the World Series and win it, this clip is going to be on the year-end year-end holiday special.
I can't wait. I love making the holiday special. I feel like it's always for negative rants about the Giants and their incompetence. It's time positive. I could be positive, people. Just when the circumstances call for it, I will be positive. So it's proof. This year is proof. It's all you needed, just positive things to happen.
Yeah, positive Justin is here. We'll see how long it lasts. Justin, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I always love coming on and talking with you. Thank you so much.